Jeez. I don't know how that got started. Well, I do know how that got started, actually. That's an oldie. Originated from many, many, many years before YouTube. My former father-in-law used to do that when he got home from a hard day's work, and he'd open himself a nice cold beer, and he did that, and I picked it up, and it's stuck with me ever since. Anyway, how you doing, guys? Happy Homebrew Weekday. How's it going? Weekly, weekday, weekly, Wednesday. I have a very, very proud announcement to make this week, and I got a few other things to tell you about that are coming up, so I'm kind of excited. Here, as my dog drinks water out of the bowl down there, here I stand beside a very important homebrew. Not because it's made out of certain ingredients, or not because it took hours to make, or not because the ingredients were sent in by some kind viewer, but because this is my son David's first homebrew that he made himself. I helped him. I didn't touch anything. I just guided him through the process, and he made it. He's pretty proud of this puppy, you know. Now, it's a simple beer. It's an easy home brewing beer, and that's okay. We all know that's okay. His first brew was an easy home brewing beer, but you know, he's tasted a lot of my beer and loves it. Even if it's a Cooper's or a Munton's or a simple, you know, stovetop brew, he enjoys the taste of the beer. And he said, Dad, you know, I like a beer once in a while, and I don't want to pay the high prices, so there you go. And I can recall, actually this was brewed last night, so it's just starting to come alive. The foam is starting to appear on top. This fermenter allows me to see, you know, down through the lid, so it's, yeah, starting to come alive. The airlock is starting to be active. And probably within a few hours we're going to have a Krausen ring going around the side there. Sure sign of a great fermentation. When he pitched the yeast, and he had the yeast in his hand, he had the package in his hand like this. It was all set to go. And he was getting ready to do it. I said, oh, hold on. Do you realize what you're about to do, son? And he says, what are you talking about? I said, what you've got here is a sugary substance made from grains, hops, and water. Grains, hops, and water. That's all that's in these pre-hopped kits. At least that's what the ingredients say, unless they're lying, which I doubt. Grains, hops, water. Of course, you add your own water to it to bring it up to the full volume. And he was just about to pitch it, and I said, at this point, it's just wort. And as soon as you pitch that yeast, technically, it's referred to as beer. As soon as you pitch the yeast. Now that's arguable, of course, but I wanted to create a dramatic moment for the boy, you know. He pitched the yeast in there, and he watched it go around and spread out nice and evenly, and he put that down, and he smiled. And he said, Dad, I'm proud of myself. You need to take a picture of this and make sure that everybody knows that this is my first home brew. Well, I have more than pictures. I have this video to document this, and I'm proud of him too. So, you know, simple home brew. And we discussed it, and he said, you know, if I had to, you know, if I had to go through, you know, all these different steps and everything, and listen, I've done it. All of us have. Most of us. Some of us haven't, but that's okay. You see, nobody expects you to do anything that is not within your comfort zone. So if you brew a certain way, if you brew all grain beer and you have your methods that work for you, good for you. There's nobody can breathe down their nose at you and say, that's wrong. You know what? If it works for you, it's not wrong. It's right. If you're one of those people who have limited space and on and on, you've discussed this many times and you know it, who can really just do simple beer, then that's what works for you. Who can do that? Who can look down their nose and say, wrong? Nobody can. And that's the beauty of it. And he said to me, you know, Dad, if I had to go through a lot of steps and do this, I don't think I would have done it. But because it's so easy, and because I can come down here, and he's saying this to me, because I can come down here and just brew a beer real quick and have it taste the way I like it to taste, that's why I did it. Yeah, this is kind of a monumental moment, I guess. Because, you know, 27 years ago, I did the same thing, you know. My beer was not as good as this will be. Things weren't the same back then. Technologies, the making of extracts, and, you know, the packaging of these materials was not anywhere near as good as it is today. And it's good today, trust me, and it's getting better. It's getting better. Even in the last 10 years, 6 years, it's gotten way better than it was before. So, you know, we're happy. And my next steps with this, I want to teach him how to boil some hops and add that to the beer. I want to teach him how to dry hop a beer. I want to teach him how to steep some grains. I want to teach him how to do a mini mash and how to convert grains to sugar and starches to sugars and create a beer from, you know, raw ingredients. I want to teach him how to use different yeasts. I want to teach him how to make a yeast starter. I want to teach him all these things. Just like I've done, I didn't do a yeast starter for you guys, but I've done a lot of videos on all these different steps and stages. And I also want to make sure that I teach him how to make whole grain, because ultimately he needs to choose. He needs to choose what kind of beer, what method he wants to use. And if he chooses to go the all grain route, then he's got that choice. And if he chooses not to go that route, he's got that choice. I'm never, ever, ever going to pressure him into doing something that he's not comfortable with. Whatever way he wants to make his beer, that's his choice, isn't it? We're going to keg this up, we're going to carbonate it, and he's going to drink his first home brew, thanks to simple home brewing methods that are able to get him started. I taught him how to sanitize. I taught him what to boil, what not to boil, you know, what order to do things in. Now he knows that he can make beer, and he can do it in the comfort of his home easily and cheaply. He knows that now. This is the on-ramp to home brewing, and this is what I've tried to teach people for years and years, and I'm glad you guys are along for the ride. Thank you for your support. It's his! And maybe we'll have him on the video and we'll enjoy our first sip of this beer together as father and son. How cool is that? Cheers, guys! And 17. Okay. I have some plans coming up. As far as brewing goes, me and a buddy from Australia were on Skype the other night, and we were just talking and, you know, shooting the crap, you know, just talking about things. Ultimately, because we're both home brewers, ultimately we got talking about stuff about brewing, and I have some grains down here. I just showed you a bag. That's actually an all grain batch I'm going to do soon, but other bags of grains that I have that are just sitting around. Like, you've got some Crystal, we've got some Cara Munich. Oh, look at that! We've got some Maris Otter. This is a sort of a UK version of two-row. It's kind of the same sort of thing as two-row, a little bit different, but Maris Otter. And I don't have a lot here, so I'm going to order some more to get this, because we're going to do a mini. I'm going to do it this week. Listen, we were on Skype, and we talked about this, and we got ourselves all riled up and going about a new recipe that I can brew, because I've got all these grains sitting around that I really haven't used in a while, and I really should use them up before they go stale or whatever. And so I told him, and we got on, he got on Brewer's Friend, and I got on Beersmith, and we conjured up some sort of a recipe that's going to be a mini mash, and I can't wait to do this. It's going to be so awesome. And together, the passion, the motivation that we had on the Skype call was unbelievable. When you start talking fresh grains, fresh hops, fresh stuff, and it's just going to be good. So look forward to that coming up very soon. I'll order another kilogram of these things, Maris Otter, and we came up for a name for the beer, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to keep that a surprise until we actually get the graphics and the beer going and figure out what we're actually doing. But there is a name for it. I used to watch commercials when I was pour some milk on this, have it for breakfast. It's unbelievable. I remember the commercials back when I was younger for 9 Lives. It was a cat food. I don't know if you guys remember 9 Lives. And the cat in the commercial name was Morris. And so I have got so ingrained into my head. I've seen that commercial so many times. And every time I pick up a bag of Maris Otter, mistakenly I call it Morris Otter. And it was a bit of a joke that I mistakenly called it Morris Otter. So we came up with the name for the beer, and it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait to brew this for you guys on video and try it. And I hope that many people will try the recipe when we get it settled out, especially on the 17 Brew Crew, which is an awesome forum, by the way. If you haven't been there, shame on you. No, I'm just joking. It's a great forum and a great place to go to learn about brewing. If you have questions about homebrew of any sort, it's like a dictionary. It's like opening a dictionary. There's the answer right there. It's like 17brewcrew.com. So that's cool. So that's what's coming up, and I'm excited. In fact, I don't think I've been this excited about a home brew in a while. So stay tuned, follow along, and we'll brew this together. And then you guys will have the opportunity to try it as well. Cheers. It wouldn't hurt for this video to be a little shorter this week, just because I am putting out, if I haven't already put it out, I will be putting out a homebrew video that I just did. I brewed a honey blonde ale. The recipe and the ingredients I got from BIY Homebrew Supply, and it's over here fermenting away beautifully. And so that video will be coming out very soon, if not already. It just depends on when I get things out, what order I do things in. And you'll see that. It's a very simple beer. Very simple beer. But the makers of the beer, BIY Homebrew Supply, that comes from Terp's Korean kid on YouTube. In his store, made this recipe, and he says that it's one of the most popular recipes they sell. One of the most popular kits that they sell from their stores. So, I can't wait to try it. It's a simple stovetop brew. I don't know how much simpler it gets than that, other than the pre-hopped. Really what comes to my mind at this point is to thank you guys so much for your support and your comments and everything like that. I have a community in this channel that is unsurpassed. It's unbelievable, and I'm extremely proud of what's happened to this channel in the last 10 years. It's an accomplishment on your part, it's an accomplishment on my part, and I hope that some of you, and I know that a lot of you have learned from it, and I've learned from you. Listen, I wouldn't know half of the things I know about home brewing if it wasn't for you guys. A lot of you. You know, I wouldn't have done half of the things that I've done if it wasn't for you guys. You see, this is a community. It's a give and take community. It's not just me dictating to you what to do. That's not what it is. It's you and me cooperating and working together. Because you know what? I read the comments. I do. I read the comments that you post on my videos all the time, constantly. I spend a lot of time reading comments, believe me. I don't respond to all of them, but I do read them. So I get what you guys are thinking, you see. And that feeds back into the videos that I make. It's important. So it's important for you to make the comments, and then it's important for me to read them, and it's important for me to feed them back out into what you guys want to see and hear and what you guys want me to do. I want to say to you guys, cheers. And 17. If you want to know what 17 means, everyone's like, people, and it's normal. People new come into the channel and go, what's this? What does he mean by 17? What's 17? What's all that about? I'm going to put a link down below to a video where I explain what 17 means. It basically means cheers. But how did that happen? How did it get that way? Link down below in the description section where you can find out how that is. Quite an interesting story, actually. And it has carried itself on to become 17brewcrew.com, and the term 17 is pretty darn popular now around our community, where people know what it means. But if you don't know what it means, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I didn't know what it meant at one point. I was like, what's this 17? What's going on with this? You know, I learned what it was all about at one point too. So if you don't know what it means, there's the link, and I'm going to drink some more beer for you guys. 17. I'm looking forward to tasting this. I know what it's going to taste like. It's going to taste just like this one. The same beer, really. It's going to taste good. And my son and I are going to have a little bit of a celebration down here, I think, when this is ready. His first home brew. September 27th, 2016 is when this was brewed. And no, it was 28th, I think, actually. I have it written down anyways, so no problem. But that's going to be fun. And upward and onward, he'll go from there, if he wants to. And as I said before, you know, no one's going to force him. If he wants to brew simple pre-hopped beer kits for the rest of his life, I can only hope that nobody is going to criticize him. I certainly won't. And certainly, if he decides to go off into a skyrocketing direction and brew the most amazing recipes and grains, hops, boiling, and build himself a huge brew stand with tubes and pumps and heaters and all that stuff, I sincerely hope that nobody criticizes him for that either. I certainly won't. That's what this is all about, guys, don't you think? That's what our home brewing community is all about. And I've said it millions of times, and I don't need to keep drilling it into your head. It's a horse that's been beaten to death. Of course, that sounds very morbid, and I would never beat a horse to death. Hey, we got a nice shirt on here. I get sent shirts all the time. If you have a shirt you want me to wear on a video, get in touch with me. I'll tell you where to send it, and I'll wear it and promote your whatever it is you do. If it's brewing related, of course, I will promote it. If you like the video, you know what to do. It takes 2 seconds. Press the thumbs up button. You have the freedom to brew the beer that you want to brew, however you want to brew it, and you have the freedom to watch whatever homebrew videos you want on YouTube. And that's the freedom we have. Nobody's dictating, nobody's making fun of anybody, and if they are, they're not part of this community. End of story. Got it? Good. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Keep making that good beer. Have fun. That's the most important part. Have fun. Cheers. 17. Bye, guys. Be safe. See ya.